Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Jimmy's Decorative Moments. As always, I like to start the episode by thanking our sponsors. So thank you so much to Glenn and Janice Williams of the Rosendale Arts Alliance for all of your support in starting the show and your continued support throughout. Thank you so much to Be Our Guest Party Rental for providing all the fabulous set decor. I really appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without you. Without much further ado, I'd love to introduce you to two event planners who've made such a great name for themselves in the industry because they recently started a group called the Boston Planners Dining Club. And I hope I'm not saying it wrong, and it's been such an exciting, sort of collaboration, and we're seeing these images in the events industry all over social media, and it's intriguing, exciting. We all want to be a part of it, and I can't wait for them to share a little bit about it. So thank you both so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure.
So Sarah from Brilliant Event Planning and Tammy Golson from Tammy Golson Events.
Yes.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit about, I guess where I want to get started is how did you get started as an event planner?
Yeah, that's a great question. Do you want to go first? Or you want
Sure.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how most of your conversations happen?
Yeah.
It's kind of
We have a nice balance.
Yeah, we have a good balance.
I have a degree in hospitality and tourism,
Nice.
and I had
From
several.
where?
University of Wisconsin, Stout.
Oh, love
yes.
that. Okay.
And worked in the hospitality industry in New York in private clubs in Lincoln Center. And then I got a job at a hotel, and then ended up at the New York Times after September 11th, and well, I guess we should have discussed how long the show is. But
have plenty of
so
time.
I
We have
was
25 more
working
minutes, yeah.
at the New York Times. That was kind of a corporate gig, and
Wow,
started.
what were you doing there?
I was at the foreign desk, so I was supporting the editors and the reporters who were all based all over the world during things like the Iraq War. So I was there for about 7 years. So it was, the golden handcuffs, as they call it. But in that time, I was working Monday through Friday, so it allowed me to have weekends to do events, which I really loved. And they were looking for, after 7 years, they were looking for people to take buyouts, and it wasn't my dream job. And I know that other people were really grateful to be there. So it was an opportunity for me to step away and kind of launch my own
Oh my
event
gosh,
planning
Tammy,
business.
that's super exciting.
So it was great. I kind of built a lot of confidence working with professionals there at the New York Times.
Of
and
course,
planning events
yeah.
with them, and took that and launched my own business about 10 years ago in New York City.
Oh my goodness. Well, I love, what I love that you tapped into, that moment, right? That breaking, not that breaking point, but that big break. There's always that moment that every business owner experiences where they take that leap of faith, right? And I feel like your leap of faith was you were presented with this opportunity to leave, but to leave on really good terms and to leave with really good memories. And then you just said, this is my shot, and you went for it. And I love that. So, yeah. And I'm sure Sarah has a similar story.
yeah, just like that.
And then we all lived happily ever after.
Yeah, exactly. No, I started actually working for a Forbes 200 family in Manhattan. I really wasn't sure. I'd always kind of wanted to do events, but I had thought, I was going to be a doctor. That was going to be the path I took.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, did the whole thing, MCATs and all. Don't recommend it if you don't actually want to do it.
Wow.
And then I started freelancing in events on the side, basically, because again, I had some weekend time, which allowed me to do that. Loved it. Went out and got a job at Brilliant Event Planning, which is now the company that I own, and have been there ever since. And like I said, I now co-own it with Chelsea.
Sarah, I have to say that's a first. I've never heard doctor.
Yeah, well.
I wanted to be a doctor, but then I became an event planner. That's so interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
I also really like science, but it just wasn't where my heart was.
I don't like science. How good is this hot chocolate?
It's
Thank you to
amazing.
Chef Rob.
Yeah,
Oh my
Chef
God, he's over here
Cheers,
somewhere.
Chef Rob.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And he even made these little, he was having a decorative moment in his commissary
I love them
today.
so much.
And he
So
made
good.
these cute with his little CLC logo. And then he put a little pink ornament. And then he put the J&G logo. So thank you so much. I'm just showing the camera.
It's amazing.
So nice. It tastes so good.
It's so good.
So good.
It's the spot.
So I hear a lot of New York, but so you were in New York and now you're in Boston. Why did you both come to Boston?
Our husbands.
Separately, yes.
Yeah. It was not by choice. And I think we both maybe came kicking and screaming a little bit at first.
Oh, God.
Mine's a little bit more romantic.
Yours is a little bit more
I was
romantic.
planning a wedding in Beverly, Massachusetts for a friend who was marrying a local man. And so I knew I was having several trips back and forth between New York and Massachusetts. And I was kind of tired of being single, so shifted things and met my husband with the little help of technology.
Oh, okay.
And so then he made it very clear after our first date that, he was a Boston boy and he wasn't, he wasn't leaving. So I was like, all right.
Guess you're a Boston gal now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you loved it so far?
I have. I love New York, and I always say, though, they don't make T-shirts that say I love Boston, but I think the more I get acquainted with Boston, the more because you get all of Boston, you get New England, and you get everything else in between.
Yeah, and it's a different type of place. It's slower paced, but it's like there's something really quaint and special about and charming about it. Yeah,
we're very spoiled living here, I think.
Yeah.
There's so much character.
Yeah.
There's a lot of and characters.
Yes, that too.
Also true.
So, all right. So you've been managing your own companies here in Boston because you opened a Boston chapter, Sarah.
Mm-hmm, yep. So we, when I moved here about 2 years ago, we opened up a Boston office as well. We still maintain New York.
Okay.
But yeah, we have an office here too.
So who's running the show in New York?
So my business partner Chelsea is based out of Manhattan.
Okay.
We have our office there, and then I'm here.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So I'm really excited to talk about your club. So how you started, why you started the club, the dining club for planners here in Boston, and I just want you to delve a little bit into that and how it got started, why you picked the venues that you've picked so far, things like that. So whose idea was it?
Jove's.
There's a planner colleague of ours.
Embodied.
Jove Meyer, we'll give him a shout out, Jove Meyer Events. He started organically in New York City. He had gone to a tasting at a caterer, and he was the only planner there. And he said after every bite, they were like, how was that? How was that? And he's like, it just was kind of uncomfortable. And then the next time a caterer called, he asked if he could bring some colleagues, other planners, and they were said, absolutely. And of course, there was lots of food and there was lots of wine, and it was a very successful tasting. And
that is awesome.
And so they did more of these. So they started very small and with out a big
tiny, like
purpose.
4 people with no vendors.
And lots of wine and food. And then they've grown into these must-attend, over-the-top, amazing events. So I was lucky enough to attend a few of them in New York City, and was kind of blown away, frankly. And I said, Joe, bring this to Boston. And, he doesn't need to. And he lives in New York.
No, thank you.
So then I asked him if, for his blessing. And he said, by all means, go for it. And I sat on it for a while and then had lunch with Sarah.
So how did you know each other? How did you two meet?
So we were in the same circles in New York, but through Wish Upon a Wedding as well, which is an organization that we're both still, I consider you to be still involved. You just did a wish. You're still involved. And I'm on the national board now. So we, through our work with that organization, we got to know each other. And when I moved here, I don't know if you reached out or I reached out. You might. You're so good. You probably reached out, and we went for coffee and we're talking about all sorts of things.
I was going to say, because you were probably catching up from your New York days.
Course.
And yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and it just kind of went from there. I was like, what are you waiting for, Tammy?
Let's do it. And, and I think we had the first one, and we should go back and look, probably within 6 weeks or, 2 months.
Right away.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So, but you knew, Tammy, that you wanted to do it with someone, with a partner.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes I overthink things, and I was busy, and I was transitioning my life.
You balance each other.
I knew it was a great idea, but I would say Sarah maybe had a little bit more fire, and she was like, "Let's get it done." So it was really, it was a perfect partnership, and it's been really nice to have someone to do it with, especially as we embrace still new, even though I've been here 5 years, it's still a new community and new colleagues. And
well,
new
and I must tell you that, me personally, you both came into the forefront of my mind because of it. Mm-hmm. I really wasn't super familiar with either for Brilliant Event Planning or Tammy Golson Events until I heard of the Boston Planners Club, and that's when I was like, who are these people? So it actually has created quite a buzz for both of your respective businesses, which I think is super positive. So what was that first, so what happens at a Boston? What happens at a club meeting? What happens?
Yeah, so it sounds way more, I think, formal than it actually is. It's definitely not a meeting it's actually designed to be kind of like a wedding. So in that, it's a cocktail hour and a 3-course dinner. So it's meant to give planners an experience that they would hire for their clients, right? So if we're looking for a caterer, here's the experience that caterer would give to your client.
Okay.
Because the purpose is twofold. It's planners collaborate and have a support system and learn to work together. And I think our mantra is that not every client is right for each one of us, right? We all specialize in different types of events. So with that in mind, collaborating and getting to know each other and knowing who to refer to has been really great, I think, for everyone. But then, of course, to really vet these vendors and get to grow everyone's preferred or recommended vendor list. So by bringing on a caterer and giving the same experience each time really allows for that. And then, of course, however many vendors we collaborate with for decor and other things, that also we're bringing those vendors in as well. So guests are experiencing it as they would an event.
So it seems like a really exciting opportunity for a vendor to like kind of get their name out there and to like have
and
planners
showcase things that they don't get to do because maybe the budget doesn't allow normally, or the client wants like blush and doesn't want to do you know bright pink or whatever it is, you know, something that's fun and outside the box.
And I think that part of the buzz around the club has been the fact that like there are things that have been unexpected and sort of interesting and unique and things that people aren't normally seeing. And I think that this forum gives people an opportunity to create, like you said, something that is interesting, you know? So I think that, I mean, I'm personally excited for the one that we're doing together in March, you know, at the Four Seasons.
We're so excited. No
I
pressure.
can't wait. Yeah. No, I'm so excited. First of all, I do love the Four Seasons a lot. I love so many venues. And I had a really beautiful wedding there in July, and we did do a photo shoot there. But there is something very special and quiet about that venue, and like overlooking the park, and like. So I am excited to like see what your concept's going to be and like what your sort of design direction's going to be, and then like use that to kind of like come up with something interesting that complements it and all that stuff.
Yeah, and likewise, we're really excited to see what you'll come up with, knowing that you don't have the direction of a client or a budget to adhere to, and that you get to really be creative and think out of the box and show us something that maybe you've always wanted to do that you haven't been able to sell to a client, or something that you just were inspired at the market that day, kind of thing.
So so you had your first one, it was successful, and then you kind of knew this is something that we definitely should continue to do. You know, that was kind of confirmation for you. You never felt like, let's stop it, it's too much.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay,
and even, especially after the second one, the momentum we had after the second one, I mean, we've got them planned almost, deep into 2019.
And people are calling you now to have it at their venues.
We're partnering with people who really get it and who are really eager to participate and to collaborate with us. And it's been amazing. I mean, the first one, I think we were really thrilled with the outcome. And then the second one, there hasn't been any negative aspect to it. It's really been a win-win, from the attendees being really happy to be included to the partners who are collaborating with us. It's been a great sense of collaboration and creativity from us, and it's also great for our portfolio, and it's fun as people who aren't originally from here to connect with local venues and vendors and new vendors, so that we are developing
and it's a lot
better
of
relationships.
And it's a lot. Well, it's also amazing for the two of you, because here you are, two New York planners coming to Boston, sort of new to the scene-ish, but now you're sort of like undertaking this like role. You're sort of like leaders in our community, because it's like, you're organizing these events for all these different planners, and now everyone knows who you are. All these vendors are going to know who you are, and it's just like, it's like a win-win-win-win-win, So I think that's awesome. It's very smart too. So yeah,
it's really fun. I mean,
we've
been having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's been fun. The feedback from vendors who have been involved is that they're also having such an amazing time, because it's just, I mean, when do you get to do on a Monday night? Come on, right? What else are you doing on a Monday night?
And I think it's kind of like a different perspective of a photo shoot, because I think we've all been involved in photo shoots. And at the end of the 3 or 4 or 5 hours of shooting, everything's broken down. Well, it's like you get the creativity of the photo shoot, you get the products, but then you get to like actually reap the benefits. And then sitting down to dinner with these people and hearing the buzz of people like excited about.
So what are people talking about at these meetings? Like, what's happening at these meetings? Is it a secret? Is it top secret?
No, top secret. We can't tell you. Sorry. No, I think it definitely depends on who you're sitting
hot
with.
chocolate is.
Yeah, what's in here?
So good. I'm like trying to pace myself. It's okay. Just beat me on television. It's fine. No, I think that it depends on where you're sitting. So we try and do it a little bit where people are not sitting necessarily with their friends.
Okay. So you do the table assignments?
Yeah.
So those are the details I want to hear about. Like,
Tim and I do the seating.
Okay.
We try and do it in a way where people like feel comfortable with who they're sitting with. Obviously, we don't want anybody to feel like miserable about being there, but also people who might be able to learn from each other or share some interesting experiences. And it's a mix too, because every vendor who collaborates with us also gets a seat at the table. So it's planners plus these vendors.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay.
So it's a mix, and we're not putting all the planners at one table and all the vendors at another. We have to make sure, everybody is well mixed together. So I think it depends on who you're sitting with. And I definitely have had conversations about pricing. I've had conversations about advice on marketing. I was recently talking to somebody about how to be a mom and be a planner, because that's, something that's a topic.
A lot of planners are new moms right now. Like, there's so many right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that the topics, at least for me, they've really ranged. And Tammy and I don't sit at the same table, so we
mix it up.
We mix it up.
Is it 2 separate tables, or is it mixed? Oh.
Well, last time it was 4.
Right,
Before that we did, kind of one big long one, but we
You
put
were sitting
ourselves
at separate ends.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we
wow.
try and
Okay.
move ourselves
I love
around.
that. I love that
Yeah.
you're like the dames of the event, right? It's like yeah, because you are the hostesses of this event, So I think that that's like really cool. So, what has been some feedback that you've gotten from the industry or from people in general?
Yeah, I think
it's been all really positive. They're really happy
yeah.
that we've created this, and we're spearheading such a great support opportunity for planners. I mean, I think even whenever we get someone who can't attend, they're RSVPing and they're like just expressing gratitude and warmth, and they're like,
exactly,
and like, please keep us on the list type of thing. And I think the other thing to put out there is that we ask the venue or the caterer, sometimes they're the same, how many people they're comfortable hosting, because obviously it's a huge investment for them, because we do ask for the cocktail hour and the 3-course meal. So with alcohol, and that tends to be a lot.
We're a boozy bunch.
So sometimes, it could be 20 people, sometimes it could be 40 people. So if everyone isn't invited to everyone, it's not like a popularity contest. It's basically we're just trying to be respectful of our hosts and our partners. So.
I have to say, like, it's like as a vendor, it's like, who markets almost exclusively to event planners and within the industry, like, it is a really good thing to do. It's a really great kind of connection to have. It's a networking thing, but it's a good collaboration. So I love it. I love it so much. So what are some things happening like in the wheelhouse for like next year, for 2019? Obviously, you have some things already scheduled. Some dining. What are some of the venues? Are you allowed to say which venues or?
Yeah. So we have.
Start next week.
Yeah, so the Inn at Hastings Park.
Okay.
That's going to be our next one, so that's December 3rd.
May I ask, I'm just going to pause. Do you feel your visibility growing? Like, do you feel for yourselves, like pre-dining club and post, like, do you feel like...
Oh, immediately it was a game changer for me.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that, really. Yeah.
It definitely put me on the map. And
awesome.
It was people were curious, and they were seeing it and they wanted to know more, and it's nice like content to like when you're meeting people and you're networking, and because it's very authentic. I'm excited about it, and people are curious and they're interested. So I appreciate that.
And it's not like you're not just representing. How do I say this? You're not just representing a business with a financial motive, right? It's like you're actually representing something bigger.
And it's very authentic. I think this comes from both of us in such a positive place. Like we just wanted to build a stronger community here and be creative and do what we love. And meanwhile, if great things come of it professionally, then
it's also great.
Yeah,
it's a great side effect.
It's a great side effect, but it's also the hope of everyone involved at the event. Because they too are being introduced to these caterers and these venues. Everyone has the same opportunity at these events. Everyone's given the same opportunity to present themselves and promote themselves and talk about themselves. So it's actually it makes things a little bit more egalitarian in that way, right?
And it's been really great too. I feel like the social media push from it. Like everyone has been so generous with how much they post about it, especially the vendors, because the photos go to everyone after, so that people can use it for content. So the continued push on social media, even after the event.
Can I be honest with you? So the way I found out about it, it's like a planner called me, and after the first one, it was like, did you see this stuff on social media?
Great.
And I was just like, oh, let me go on my Instagram and find out. But it's like, that's how I found out about it. So there was a lot of like, what is going on? Like, what is this? So it really was exciting. And a lot of people just wanted to be a part of it or to know what it was. And, it definitely created the sense of like, and not everyone can go. Right. You can only accept, like you said, the caterer, the venue. They get to put a cap on the number of people who can attend because it is a huge financial investment. But which makes it special, in that way, because it is a little bit more private. It's you're not. But how does a planner become part of it?
So it really started organically with the people we knew, people who had reached out to us, maybe a planner we maybe didn't know face to face, but we knew of in a good enough way that we could invite them to essentially a party, right? Like, you don't invite people you have no idea who they are. So it kind of started that way with the first one.
Okay, right, because you're like, okay, we're about to have dinner with these people.
Yeah, we're going to have dinner.
Yeah.
Like, let's start with people we know.
Yeah.
And then also, even that first one, we asked, the vendors if there was anybody that they wanted to invite, anybody they wanted to get in front of, or include and make sure that they could definitely showcase to let us know. And so we incorporated some of those people. And then for the next one, we kind of kept that same, like, just general overall the list, and then swapping out here and there as needed, based on the head count.
Okay.
And then same for this one. Yeah. So it's just.
So it's not like an exclusive list. It's not like anyone can be a part of it.
Totally. The only thing that really makes it exclusive is the head count.
Right.
So if we're told 20 people, we've got to.
So you do have to decide. Like, it's not like you pull names out. Do you pull names out of a hat who gets to come to the event, or it is a little bit more curated than?
It's I would say.
I think we've had a nice balance, and I think we try to keep a nice balance of maybe more senior planners, some people who are new to the scene, just to keep a fresh perspective.
I love that. Actually,
we try not to have it be like all one
like
type of planner or age of planner or experience of planner. We try and keep it mixed because the point is that everybody is. I think some of
I love that. That is so awesome. That is such a good,
And everyone can take something, right? Like an older planner might learn something more about social media from a younger planner.
Right.
And a younger planner could learn like why they need to learn to say no to some things, for example.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's really an educational opportunity when you mix it up that way, because then it's like you said, you're learning from these different generations and experience levels, and I mean, God knows, I wish I could do that. Sometimes within. Are you hungry by any chance? Because I know Chef Rob, he made us some cakes. So
you don't have to tell me twice.
Chef, take it away, bring it over.
Love these mugs, too.
I know, I love the mugs.
I like
the hot chocolate is amazing.
I like
so
I might need the recipe.
Yay. Oh my God, thank you. Chef.
Oh my gosh, how beautiful.
Wow, face the camera and tell us about these things. I'll hold it up. Wow.
Well, they're individual spicy gingerbreads with a little bit of cream cheese frosting and crystallized ginger. And it's just very festive for the holiday. And a number of years, we had catered this very large Christmas event, and they would only do a chocolate dessert.
Oh, wow.
Made this for them for a tasting one time. They've done it 3 times since then.
Oh my God.
Hopefully you'll enjoy them too.
Must be addictive.
I'll give everyone a bite, and so we can close the episode by just each taking a bite and enjoying this. Like,
amazing.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I love these Christmas trees.
I know.
This is. Oh, I got a small one. Believe it or not, there was actually a. I know.
Can you give us the big one, and you get a small one? What is that? Oh my God, these are so cute.
I love these. So, do you have a website for the dining club? Like, if I was a new planner in the industry, and somebody was like, Jimmy, just so you know, there's like this dining club for planners. Like, you might want to be a part of it. How would I get in touch with you? Like, how would I even know you were the organizers? Like, what?
So we have a lot of people who follow the hashtag that we use, so that's like a big way, and that directs both to mine and Tammy's Instagrams, which then obviously link to our individual websites. We also have posted, so like within the blog archives, each of the events is posted there. And Boston Magazine is our exclusive press partner, so they have also featured everything either online or in print. We actually have the print edition coming out, I think, next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
you know what I have to say? When I Googled it today, and it came up. The first thing that came up was the Boston Magazine write-up. So it was
just Google us, just reach out to us. Like, it's really lowbrow. It's like we kind of have kept it like that so far. But again, it's our first year, and we've only done 2. We're approaching our 3rd.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm excited, and I can't wait to see the pictures from it. And I can't wait to see. I'm always interested in the flowers, so I can't wait to see like the floral and stuff like that, because that's sort of like my.
We can't wait to see your floral.
Well, no,
I know.
I will. Again, like I'm gonna take a lot of design. This is why I love working with planners. Because I just need the few words, and I do need direction, right?
Okay.
Like I need like
pause.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know this is.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I'm taking this home with me if I don't finish it.
No,
right
you
now.
definitely are, because there's like several of them. So.
Oh my God.
Well, we're wrapping up now,
That's
so
so
I just
good.
want to go ahead and address our audiences. You know, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this episode of Jimmy's Decorative Moments. I hope you've learned something. I've certainly learned so much, and I enjoyed talking with Sarah and Tammy about their endeavors, where they came from, how they got started, and this exciting venture, the Dining Club. You know, I mean, it just started. It's already gotten a lot of buzz in our industry. It's going to continue to get buzz, and I can't wait to see how it grows in 2019. I'm excited for my event at the Four Seasons, too. I can't wait to do the flowers for it. So thank you all so much for watching, and until next time.